it was very, very similar to what happened, where enough energy got through that someone picked it up, and what they did was they planted themselves inside that electronic fence, and they started wearing it down with their harmonic, just burning huge holes in it, so information started to get out and information started coming back in. And it began to elevate consciousness very, very quickly, because we're all symbiotic. The relationship of all of humanity, whether on this planet or others, it's symbiotic. We are all connected to each other. The distance is irrelevant. It's just being able to communicate and understand each other because of our different experiences, our different beliefs, and our different filters that we've all been conditioned to have. Once we get past all that, we're all pretty much the same. So it's really interesting. It's exciting to see the changes, but at the same time, I'm very concerned that so many people are going to get hurt because they don't see this bus coming. The changes, and there's some talk too about the 28th of September where there's supposed to be an ascension. I think someone's putting that stuff out. And my understanding is that's just simply not the case. Most of us aren't even ready. But what is happening is that our solar system will fully begin its descent into the plasma field, the equatorial region of our galaxy. And, let's see if I can do this. Our solar system, as it moves, it goes here we go. It goes up, and it goes down, and it goes up. It travels this way, okay, as we're moving in the galaxy. 26,000 years, 26,000 years, 26,000 years, 26,000 years, okay? Well, what we're doing is we're beginning our descent, okay, to begin a new 26,000-year cycle, and that descent will take us across through the plasma field, which NASA calls the Oort cloud, and that field is a huge electrical plasma field, and it will change our DNA. It will change virtually everything that we know. And what happens is once we cross that actual plane, we move into a different harmonic, a feminine harmonic, where humanity will begin to rebuild itself and regenerate and recreate itself in a safe environment, okay? Because that harmonic, that frequency is not about war. It's about compassion. And we're leaving the male dominant in the northern side of the galaxy. We're leaving the war behind, and those who can't let that energy go, that warrior, that that control, that dominance, a lot of them, whether they're male or female, won't make it. They will check out. And the A's once said that many of the men would have brain aneurysms because they simply would not be able to handle the energy. I think most of the women could adapt, but not all of them will. So we will have 26,000 years of just incredible healing and rebirthing of humanity, before we begin that ascent back up into the male dominant frequencies. But, this has been going on forever, and many civilizations experience this on third, fourth, and fifth density. And that's all that's been expressed to me. I don't know what happens at sixth, other than the fact that I've been told that they don't experience the duality. It is primarily one harmonic, which would be compassion and introspection. Those were the words that were used for sixth density. So here you go. Those are some of the things we're going to talk about. You provide incredible service, just making the information available. What people do with it is beyond anybody's control. But the point is to make it available, because if people are asking questions, they will find it, or they will find somebody who would lead them to it. It's amazing how that works, regardless of what it is.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, people have been, you know, that's where you've been. You've been putting the information out, and it's been trickling through, and you put a little bit out, and you know, other stuff happens, and it trickles through, and it infuses. And James, I mean, I think you've done a fantastic job of gathering all of the stuff that Alex has kind of littered over the web over the years, just kind of dropped behind him, and then and you brought it all together into one fantastic site. I mean, I'm really pleased for you, Alex. Like now, what do they call it when they an audience with such and such? So, and it's you speak to people who know you, who are up to speed, who can ask really, really, really good questions.
Oh man, I would love something like that.
Yeah, like a master class.
Because you know, when and this is why I enjoy in a live scenario, Q&A.
Yeah.
Because there are times I don't know what I know. In other words, during my conversations with Visayas and Mornay, you know, Visayas has always been telepathic. Well, Mornay was both. He would speak telepathically at the same time he would use his vocal cords because that's all he knew. And for a while there, I would just focus on the vocal cords, and I would miss the fact that he was also talking in my head. You know, and my brain has all this download from both of them. And sometimes I don't even know that I know something unless the question comes up. And then, like, boom, there's the answer. You know, the information comes from somewhere in the back of my head, and it's just like I get all these pictures and language of the answer, and I surprise myself because I know it. I know it's hard to explain and it sounds kooky, but it really is what it is. It's weird. I mean, I enjoy that part because, you know, I'm just as fascinated by anybody as to what's going on and who we are and you know, where we're going. I mean, absolutely.
That's right. You know, I think we've really been waiting for this moment, the internet at this level, to have these kind of conversations for this moment, for this information to be spread. And I think it's part of the plan, the Starseed plan.
You know, there's a lot of information that people send me that absolutely just doesn't resonate with what I know. But there is a council, and you know, at last count there were over 1,000 star nations that were a part of it. And I don't know the exact number. I think the last number they gave me was 1,300 and something star nations. And it was a place where they would come and they would share information and data about changes, updates, scientific discoveries, interdimensional seepage from higher dimensional realms that were affecting different parts of fifth density and fourth density, and then third density. You know, we ended up getting into the mix here because somebody figured out that about our DNA signature and how unique it is. So that's how we got into the mix. You know, and about the tyranny that shows up 900 years in our future that shows up for them. So, you know, there's a lot that goes on in these things. And yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about that. I've never seen it in action. I've never sat in a meeting. I've only heard about, you know, what goes on there, and that it's very well respected, and that almost anybody can air a grievance in one of these forums, you know. But it's they work together, they discuss things together, they make decisions together, but it's not a body of enforcement, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So
individual star nations choose to enforce if they so choose. But the council itself is not a body of enforcement.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. Thank you. Because that's a fascinating thing that you were actually saying before, that you've heard all this stuff and it's in your cells because 20 years, 30 years, however many years ago, your cells have reproduced and it's all locked in there.
42 years.
And it's the only thing is that unlocks it is somebody bringing up an idea, and then something will just, it's like you've got a Google kind of thing going on. But it's like a knowledge. You can feel it. It's like you know how to drive a ship. If somebody says, "How do you drive a TRZ?" And it would sort of be like the Trinity in the Matrix, where you go, "Well, I can ride a helicopter now."
Yeah, similar. It's very similar. For almost 50 years, I've engaged in telepathic communication. I think that's mostly what it is. The mind is just a sponge, and its ability to retain information is remarkable. It's beyond anything we can imagine. It's got to be one of the biggest hard drives that we couldn't even create, because it not only stores data, but it stores it holographically, and it merges it all together. And even though we don't understand it, our soul does, and it's almost like it imprints the soul with the data, or the soul has the data already, and it imprints the physical body. And it's just there. It's just there. I remember the one time I was able to fly Mornay's ship. He had to have his hand on my shoulder, and it was sitting right here. And at one point he took his hand, he just lifted it, and the ship began to wobble crazily like this, because I wasn't calm. My mind wasn't calm, and that's how they operate their craft, is simply with their mind. So the minute he took and I was calm in the beginning, we're just, very steady. And then he lifted his hand and it just started to go like this because I wasn't calm. I began to panic. And the ship was at that point a full extension of me. And then he put his hand back on here and he just smiled and he goes, "You're not ready."
Yeah, because we're used to using things outside of our bodies. Are we? To drive a car, you have your hand on the steering wheel, or the joystick, or the blah, blah, blah. My mind is not made of anything. I can't feel my muscles. It's like it's the feedback. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's the feedback.
Yes. Yeah, we're so ingrained in third density where we get that physical feedback that we just feel a reaction to our actions, where in the higher dimensions, it's really not like that. It's different. It's just lighter. It's just lighter. You feel bigger, you feel stronger, you feel calmer. It's a level of freedom there just are no words to explain in our language. There's just not enough words or adjectives to describe it. And it's been frustrating, for a long, long time to try to express it. And I haven't, in my opinion, adequately expressed it at all because I don't have the words.
You're coming up to, it's about 1:15 your time, is
my
that
time's
correct?
up here.
Good. I think this has been a fantastic thing. We've had a solid thing. What do you think, James?
It's been perfect. Yeah, there's not been any problems on the webinar side at all. It's worked perfectly. And
all right. So thank you, boys. Thank you guys very much.